Alright, so this is going to be a book review of this book right here. I was actually going to read off a few things, but I decided not to. Just, I don't know, go read the book yourself. There were a few salient moments that stuck out. Anyway, and I actually wrote this one down. So, yeah, sorry I'm not going to be actually looking at the camera, but I got to get to the gym, so I need to get through this without stumbling all over the place and taking time to pause and all that. First, as to the reasons why it took me about 3 months to do this on a book that is only 191 pages long. The answer is simple. I work Monday to Thursday from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. one week, Monday to Friday from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. the next, and at my main job, and 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. Friday to Monday every week. This is my side job, well, second job, part-time job. Every week. Take working 13 out of 14 days. I get a day off once every other Thursday. Add in heavy weights at the gym, and the rest of life and sleep, and you can see why it took so long, especially when you factor in that all of the rest of life consists of checking my P.O. box and buying groceries. I really don't do much else. I don't go partying or clubbing. I work at a bar as my second job, so I get enough of the bar scene more than I care for. That formality aside, let's start from the obvious and work our way down. This is an excellent book. This is an excellent book, if for nothing else, the fact that it is a book that is pragmatic, dealing little, if any, with theoretics. Why do I say this? Simple. The black community, at least at the very least, the African American one, as opposed to Euro blacks, Africans, Caribbeans, such, as a whole, don't need any more theory. It got enough of that during the mid 50s to 60s when Malcolm X tried to light a fire under the black community's ass. If you don't believe me, feel free to go look at some of his work. One of the first things that is talked about is the need to more or less stop blaming Whitey. This takes some getting past as far as what I suspect is the knee-jerk reaction to say something along the lines of, "Fuck you, crack-ass motherfucker." Trust me, some people are going to read that book and maybe even read it aloud to other people, and they're immediately going to say some stuff like that, especially when you get to the point where he starts going off about why you should not be blaming whites for stuff. Upon further reading, you can see that what is being said is not that whites didn't do what they did in the past, and not that the residual effects of slavery, segregation, an unjust justice system, and all else isn't there. What is being said is that most, if not all, of the most, if not all, of that of those social events are out of your control, as opposed to your ability to not let it stop you and push past it. Even though, as he also admits, the pushing will be harder for you than for anyone else. I'm sorry if this sounds mechanical as hell, but I mean, hell, I'm reading from my, I'm reading, so yeah, it's not just my mind flowing. So I'm sorry if I sound mechanical as hell, but yeah, it doesn't take away from the fact that it is an excellent book that everyone should be reading. Really, everyone should be reading. Another practical step is given. Another practical step given is the thought is through his analysis of my mistake is through his analysis of tribalism. While theoreticals of his explanation and application to the black male youth is something to be contemplated on, the message is simple: learn to say "fuck 'em." I just put it like that, but the message is in fact simple: learn to say "fuck 'em." To put it as bluntly as I can, for clarity, simplicity, and efficiency. This applies to family, friends, and anyone that wants to hold you back, especially for their own interests. This solid bit of advice has been said in all groups. This is white, black, rich, poor, American, British, whatever, just all groups. You may have heard of it as one of the following: fuck the haters, look out for number one, get money, and the standard issue, what's in it for me. Very hard to follow this rule if you have some ride or die allegiance to ruination, no matter what that is in the form of, be it family. This actually could go to Spanish people as well. Familia comes first. No, essay, no. No, no, no. Fuck fam. Sometimes family is the one that you need to get rid of the most. Okay? So blacks and especially, well, really, I guess it could be a lot of other people too, like Middle Easterns, they have that, Asians have that as well. So sometimes you do have to say fuck the group, fuck the herd, fuck the collective, fuck the hive, whatever. um, you do have to say that, but this is for black people because everybody else seems to not say that, and I guess through other factors are still able to be to make it more or less. Spanish people may be one step above blacks. I don't know. Once you get past the initial red pill stages of the book, that's just what I call it, the fun starts. From the fun, yes, the fun actually does start. From how to get money, to how to not lose money, to how to protect your nuts, if you know what I mean, and you can take that to mean whatever you want. Well, not what you use your imagination. There's pretty much almost nothing you can think of that wouldn't apply to, okay? Including the obvious literal one. The rest of the book gives a black man all of these steps to bob and weave out of poverty into at least the fast disappearing middle class, at least the middle class. Now then, for any blacks who might still be thinking, fuck Whitey and his book, he don't know about that life in these streets, all I will say to this is Malcolm X, in obviously different manner and in different ways and means, was saying the same thing and for free. Not enough people listen to Malcolm X instead of sorry. Not enough people listen to Malcolm X, instead choosing to iconify him while letting his message fade as the generations passed. Now you get to hear the same logic, rather. Now, obviously not the same message, obviously not, but the same logics, the same basic logics, right? The same logics, only said a bit differently, obviously differently, and from Whitey for a fee, because obviously his book does cost, and you are going to have to pay for it. I do not. I looked online just to scan to make sure before I said this. I don't see it on PDF anywhere, so yeah. And I don't think there's an audio book out, so you are going to have to buy it and read it. So yeah, for a fee, he charges. Once again, I consider this mandatory reading for any black man ages 14 to 29. Obviously, this is for everybody. It doesn't have to be that age, but especially that age where stuff is kind of a bit critical. I give this a rating of 4.9 out of 5. Why? Okay, I found a few human errors That actually makes it a very good book even more. Makes it even better book because I did find some human errors to show that it's a human being and not some corporate machine. In that I found a few typos, maybe grammatical errors, and which I just realized a couple of days ago actually, when I was admiring my pseudo book collection over there. Uh, I'll actually show it to you right here. This is the top of the book. What do you notice? What exactly do you notice? The spine is upside down. All the rest of them, see? Yeah, you see? So, yeah, just little small foibles like that. Uh, that and, 4.9 out of 5 because nothing is perfect. There's always room for improvement and all that foolishness. So, yes, 4.9 out of 5. This book should be on the shelves or, I don't know, under the bed or in the closet or wherever the hell of all black youth at least 14 to 29. Really should be for all black people, I suppose. Oh, and with the last remaining minutes, I suppose I should just give an analysis of me. Okay, well, I'm a black man, so how did it help me? I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of what's in this book, at least as far as the red pill stages part goes, well, actually, a lot of it didn't help me. Nigga, what the fuck? How the hell you gonna sit here and say all that shit, man? You want me to go grab this, go reach for this book, and you ain't help you? Let me explain. This book is, I as a black person want to say, as a foreign black, I'm going to say mainly for American blacks, and the reason for that is what I've noticed is that a lot of other blacks, meaning Caribbean blacks, Africans, or Euro blacks, there's a certain level of stuff that they don't go through that appear well not that they don't go through, but there's a certain level of stuff that they don't have to be deprogrammed from the way American blacks do. On average, obviously. For me, my life was rough growing up, but rough in the sense that when I came to this country, well, first of all, I left Jamaica, and even though I was in the mountains, think of that as like you're the mountain hillbillies of America. Think of me as like the Jamaican version of that. Even though I was born in Kingston in a rather wealthy area, I came here. I started in Potomac. I moved all around Montgomery County, all along 355. I was in Chevy Chase one time, Bethesda, and all that. And if anybody knows anything about those areas, those are rather wealthy areas uh, in Maryland, in the D.C. metro area, Maryland. Rather wealthy areas, especially when I was there back in the early 90s. Um, I went through a lot of stuff, but there was a lot of things that the average black man in America would have to be told and all that I already knew not to do. Stuff like staying away from bad company, don't do this, do that, all that stuff I didn't have to be told. So a lot of the stuff that I was reading, I was thinking, okay, why the hell do you even need to say this? I mean, this is kind of basic stuff. But then I realized I had a different bit of, I had a better upbringing than a lot of blacks had. Even though I was a single parent, it was my mom and my sister and me, and we struggled. I spent some time with my grandfather before I came to this country back in Jamaica, and just the whole mentality and stuff. Think of it like this. A lot of people say, well, how come foreign blacks come over here and they do so well, but yet American blacks are still failing? There's different reasons for that, but part of it is the kind of mentality that's there. Hell, Africans come over here and they kick even the Asians' ass in school. Wooten High School is one example of that. So a lot of the stuff that would be needed, I didn't need, but there were some things that later in the book that I found useful for me. So there is something there for everyone. Again, required reading. Thank you.